Once again, welcome to BAC Science Consultants. In the previous video, we looked at the role of membrane lipids. This time, we shall look at membrane proteins as another component of a cell membrane. Membrane proteins. Previously, when we looked at the structure of the cell membrane, if we could recall the structure of the cell membrane, like here, we said that the cell membrane is mosaic. And we said it is mosaic simply because different components of different shapes and sizes all fit together. So the proteins within a membrane are the ones responsible for the mosaic nature of the cell membrane. And these proteins are different. For example, we have the proteins that are attached on the surface of the membrane or the surface of the bilayer. These ones are called extrinsic proteins, or what we can term as peripheral proteins. Other proteins can penetrate the bilayer to varying extents. And these ones penetrating the bilayer to varying extents can be called intrinsic. Or someone can call them integral proteins. Then we have other proteins that span across the bilayer, and these ones spanning across the bilayer are called transmembrane proteins. We shall find that these proteins have specific structures and have specific functions. For example, when we look at this protein here, this can be called the carrier protein. At this point, it is facing down, but it can as well change and face up using energy derived from ATP. When you look at this protein, it has got a pore. We can see this pore, and this can be called channel protein. They are specific. The channel proteins and the carrier proteins are specific, and they perform different functions. So this time, let's move on and look at the role of membrane proteins, or functions of membrane proteins. Now, we have known a cell membrane is made up of different proteins of different shapes and sizes, and we shall base on those particular proteins to tell the functions of these membrane proteins. Of course, one, we shall find that these transmembrane proteins which have pores, you can say some transmembrane proteins have pores, that's called channel proteins. and allow movement of water-soluble molecules. So the molecules across the cell membrane. The water-soluble molecules may be ions. Of course, in the previous videos we said that these carrier proteins and channel proteins are also specific, and we give the example of the specific protein molecules like the aquaporins, which are the channel proteins. Aquaporins, the channel proteins that allow the movement of underwater molecules. We also talked of the sodium-potassium ion channel proteins. Those ones are responsible for the transport of ions. Therefore, that can also be another function, that some channel proteins e.g. sodium, potassium, ion channel proteins can act as ion pumps. That one is another function. Then thirdly, we may look at proteins still within the membrane, like those within the mitochondrial membrane. They are within the mitochondrial membrane, and those ones can act as enzymes to catalyze very many reactions. Can act as enzymes to catalyze many reactions, like the enzymes involved in the electron transport system within the mitochondria. Some proteins, like this one, with a branching carbohydrate chain called the glycoprotein, can be used as an antigen for cell-to-cell recognition. So therefore, proteins are can be antigens for cell-to-cell recognition. Then we find that some proteins bind with specific molecules. They can bind with hormones, and when they bind with hormones, they can act as transducers. They convert the message into an electric message so that it can easily be transmitted across the cell membrane. So they can be as transducers. So these are some of the functions of the membrane proteins. Thanks for paying attention. Continue subscribing to our YouTube channels, BAC Science Consultants, for more videos. Thank you.